Okay, we're back on campus here at White Plains with Coach Smith. And Coach, you guys coming off a 40-7 victory. That had to feel good for the kids, all the hard work and time they've spent up here putting in this season. And to get a victory like that, 40-7, that had to be good over Horseshoe Bend.
Yeah, it was. It was a great win. We thought we came out and played. First half, played a little sluggish, I felt like. Went in and kind of made some adjustments at halftime and got on them a little bit about kind of how we were playing, and we kind of came out the second half and then picked it up a little bit and did some things that we needed to do. And coming off a huge 3-game stretch with some of the teams we played, it was battling some nicks and bruises and things like that. A couple kids banged up, but proud for the win. Great win for us, and we get to come back home this week for homecoming, which is the craziest week of the year for coaches. And so but really proud of our kids, our community, and it was a big win for us.
Coach, let's talk about that right fast. Coming back home, homecoming, it's always a ton of distractions. What's your approach on it? I know you want the kids to have fun, but you also got business you got to get taken care of, and you got a really good football team coming in here. Before we talk about Asheville, just your thoughts on homecoming in general.
It's homecoming. It's been, this week's been around since time began. I've dealt with it for a lot of years, and you want them to have fun. You want them to enjoy the things that homecoming brings, as far as just the overall high school experience. But one thing that I try to really stress is try to continue to get in the bed at a decent time, not stay out too late, take care of your body, things like that.
Don't be rolling yards.
And just be smart. That's the biggest thing, and hold each other accountable. If somebody's, kind of going too far or going off with the wrong group or whatever, show a little accountability as a teammate and just kind of help keep people in line. But, they're going to have fun. They're going to do what teenagers do on homecoming, and, just hopefully, they'll be safe and, continue to try to get in bed at a decent time and hopefully, try to explain to them that, Friday night is their homecoming. That the Asheville game is their homecoming. That's what it's all about. And so hopefully we'll get through this week and, be able to come out and play well Friday.
Let's talk about Asheville. I know a lot of people, and it's no disrespect, but a lot of people would just look up and they see them 4-1 and be like, wow, how'd that happen? Mark Sanders played at Alabama, went back and took that job, but they've got some really good football players, and they're coaching their tails off of there. They're a pretty good football team. But you talk about Asheville, what you've seen from them.
Yeah, I think number one, Coach Sanders is an outstanding coach. He's from Asheville, so I know there's a lot of pride, in going back and taking that job, where you went to school and where you played. And I think he's distributed that and kind of got that mindset with his team, which is is really good for him and his school. Just the pride that he brings to it and coming back home. I think that they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They've won some big games. I know Springville's a pretty big rivalry game right off the bat. They beat them, and then beating Aniana 22-21 was a big win for them. So really, when you watch them, you see them playing with a lot of confidence and getting after it pretty good. So they're a very good football team. Coming in here 4-1 and with a lot of momentum. And so we know we're going to get a big game out of them this week.
Coach, your guys turning the spotlight back on you guys. What have you guys improved on the most? Obviously, some of the stuff come together last week to get a victory like you did, 40-7. But I mean, you've been as battle tested as any team in 4A, period, in any part of the state with the front end of your schedule. But what have you learned about your group, and what have they improved on most since you've gotten here?
Yeah, I think we're developing a little bit of grit. I think playing the schedule we've played early on, and the way that we've competed with those teams. I think there's some light bulbs going off with the kids of we belong and we can play with some of the best teams that we're going to have to play. And as a coach, you can kind of see it in their eyes, on a Friday night. And when we played Alexandria and Hoax Bluff and Cherokee County, during the course of that game, I never felt like our kids felt like they couldn't compete. And so, they're starting to get some confidence along those lines. Now, however, we have to learn how to be there in the end to win those games. And, with the Hoax Bluff game, we was right there at the end. And, Hoax Bluff made some plays and won the game. And so we got to learn how to make those plays at the end of the game to win those big games. And so, I think, we're still early on as far as, they've been with us for just a few months. And so everybody's still learning, things. I think we're starting to catch on a few things with scheme-wise and just consistency with some things, which is really big moving forward. But, I like our grit. I like the way our kids are playing, the way they're competing. Their attitude has been outstanding, good work ethic. And so, as long as we have those, then we've got a chance to continue to get better and better. And, nobody likes to hear it, but, sometimes it just takes time, them with us with them. We're still learning each other and still, trying to figure everything out and just correct the things that we need to correct and, moving forward so that we can be the best that we can be.
Yeah, people don't want to hear that no more. It's a TikTok generation. Everything's quick, fast, in a hurry. But let's if you got a few more minutes, Coach, let's talk about some things people in the community may not even know. Some of the projects and things y'all have coming, like with the field house, and you got a ton of new stuff. But just kind of turn it back over to you on that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, our community supports our kids in our school. They love White Plains, and our kids love White Plains, and so. It's one of those things where we're doing some things facility-wise that's really going to make our community proud, and our kids that come in here every single day and put it all on the line for their school. And so some of the things our board is doing for us is they're going to turf our field with a brand new turf field, and they're also doing our baseball and softball fields. And then, our field house. We're going to get a new field house that's going to sit in the back end zone away from the school. It's going to be beautiful and, just a really awesome place for our guys to call home and, with the new facility. And so I think that'll be a big shot in the arm for our athletes. Being able to have those type facilities that a lot of the local schools around us have. And I think that, kind of help put us on a level playing field facility-wise with some of the other schools that are around us. And so, our kids are excited about that, and it'll be a nice addition. And, we've got a beautiful campus, a beautiful stadium, and that's just going to enhance that.
Coach, a couple more things, and we'll shut it down. As we walked in, my pastor and I this morning, we seen your field looks phenomenal. Who is in charge of running that? Because it looks fantastic.
Yeah, Chris Randall and Clay Sprayberry.
We got to give them guys a shout out.
Those guys, those guys have been helping take care of the field. Keeping it, cut and all that. And it is a nice field. They've done a great job with it. And when it's painted up, it looks really nice. And so it's been a good thing. It's one of the good things about our facility is our field, and it's in really good shape. And those guys have done a really good job of keeping it manicured up and all that. So,
shout out to those guys.
Shout out to those guys. And
looks like Amen Corner at Augusta.
But I ordered paint. I ordered paint this morning, and hopefully that'll be the last time I have to order it. So there's just so many advantages to a turf field. With the wetness and the rain and the storms that come.
The drainage for sure.
Drainage and just being able to go out there, at any time and it be dry. And not to mention our youth league plays on it on Saturdays. Soccer plays on it. Our band can practice on it. The lines are always there, so the spacing and everything's there. And so, right now, if we were to try to go out, a lot of times when we're not in school, we try to have morning practices. Well, the dew and the wetness is just tough, and then you track all the grass in and things. But you can go out there on a turf field and it's just as dry and really nice. So that'll be a huge help for a lot of different things.
Yeah, no doubt. And finally, Coach, I always kick it back to you just for final thoughts. Could be
Yeah,
anything.
I'm really proud of our community, our band and cheerleaders. They're working hard continually, being there supporting us, and we just appreciate them. And our community just showing up at the games, on the road, and had a great crowd at Horseshoe Bend, which is, an hour and 15 minutes away, Friday night. We came back and rolled the big oak tree. That's going to be a new tradition that we started. We had parents, we had students, we had all met us back here, at 11 o'clock when we got back to do that. And, we're going to do that for wins on the road and at home. And so, that's a nice little tradition that we're going to start. And it was a lot of fun for our kids. And so, hopefully moving forward, we can just continue to improve and, keep things going the way we want them to.
So if we see toilet paper in the oak tree, something good's happened.
That's the thing. The more toilet paper in that oak tree means good things. So we're hoping to have many more of those.
That's good. Coach, appreciate you sitting in with us. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.